Alright, here's the finished product. Kind of regret not putting body filler over here. You can see all the spots where I ground down weld. They stand out like a sore thumb. And you see my hole I put, that'll be my Deutsch connector bulkhead right there. Seemed like the best place to put it. But you see how this turned out. I get some light angles for you. I will definitely be ordering some Z-grip body filler. I do have pinholes. I don't have any putty. I don't have any. You see all the little pinholes in there? None of them close. Yeah. And I had a couple little bits of trash that fell in it as well. Oh, something I do need to do before I forget. Put Q-tips in these riv nuts, and they're about to become glued in place. There we go, there's one. And where the hell's the other one? There it is. There we go. All right. Yeah, here's the underside. What little you can see. There's my two power bulkheads where they will come through. And then my bulkhead for my AC and heater. And then these big holes here are for my pedal. And that hole's for the pedal grommet. And then my bulkhead here. I was worried at first that the wiper motor would be in the way of that bulkhead, but it mounts way up here. Those two bolts right there are the bottom ones. The top ones are there. So they're well out of the way. Anyways. I apologize for the shitty video and me going to pull that shit out of the way first, but I didn't want those rib nuts locking up with epoxy. Anyways, here's the bulkhead, epoxied, nice and clean. And take a walk out here, super bright. Went ahead and got the underside of the hood and the underside of the trunk deck lid, whatever. Now I did go ahead and spray internal frame coating inside of all these ribs because all inside of that's not coated. I saw a little bit of surface rust inside of there. I wanted to make sure it wouldn't be a problem later on in case I do end up keeping these for any length of time. And of course I have shit in the paint. There we go. It's the joys of spraying outside. Maybe one day I'll have an added on shop where I can spray stuff like this. And these runs that you see, they're not actually from the epoxy. I tried to sand them out some and it didn't really sand out too well. I don't plan on keeping this hood for a very long length of time, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time on cleaning it. That's actually the internal frame coat from before. When I stripped it, I'd coated the inside of the hood, and I coated it a little bit more again before I sprayed epoxy today just to be sure. But those are actually all the internal frame coating stuff that ran down from inside of this and this. Anyways, that's those. Another little bit I accomplished today was these. Fuel lines are ran. So I have feed, return. I think I'm gonna take Rudder's advice and go with the vent into the fill neck. It'll come out of this, either loop up. If I can get it to go through this channel and around, I will. Don't know if it will or not. If not, I'll just loop it around this. Just kind of run it up at an angle. It'll hook somewhere here. Follow this lip all the way around and branch off into there. I'm
hoping I have enough left over from this to be able to accomplish that. I'm doubting it, but haven't stretched it out to see. I might end up routing it a lot shorter of a path to make it happen, because I'd really like to be able to use this versus the actual stainless ptfe that I apparently bought way too much of. Because originally my thought was going to be to run that all the way the length of the car to and from for the feed and return, and then I decided to hardline it because I just felt like hardline was more durable and would look cleaner making the full length runs. Oh, one more thing. I did decide to go ahead and spray my column. Now this area down here is still going to be brushed, but this shaft, I decided to go black. You know what they say, once you go black, you gotta clean the bitch every day. Anyways, something I don't do too much in my videos that I want to touch base on is safety. For the few guys that aren't aware of this, because I see a bunch of people in videos spraying epoxy and wearing nothing more than this. That is a dust filter. Now these are great for doing Bondo. I prefer this well over those little paper dust masks. Those paper dust masks, in my opinion, don't do shit. If you're sanding Bondo for a couple of hours out here wearing those paper masks and you go in, if you don't blow some nasty looking shit out of your nose, then I'm just surprised. Because apparently maybe the paper mask fits you better, I don't know. But anyways, if you're spraying epoxy, I highly suggest getting one of these. Full face, especially if you're doing stuff like me where you're going under the dash and you're spraying where the spray can hit, where you're gonna have mist floating in the air and the air pressure can hit and bounce back towards you. Epoxy is some nasty stuff. Get these filters. If you're not using organic vapor filters for epoxy, you're not doing shit for yourself. The only thing you're keeping out is the actual liquid from breathing in the actual mist. You're still breathing in fumes. Epoxy fumes are very, very toxic. They will lead to nerve damage. If you do it a lot, they can cause your nervous system to shut down. Here's a part number if you need it. Alright? They're organic vapor filters. These are charcoal canisters. And they have a paper filter on the outside. You can see where the paper's catching the paint. These things make a world of difference. I used to spray epoxy with nothing more than these little filters on the front, or that little dust mask over there, and you can still smell all of the fumes like crazy. It amazed me when I bought these things. You do not smell any epoxy fumes with these on. You might as well just be outside in clean air. It's crazy how much that stops. Spend the money, get these. You can get them on eBay or any of the parts suppliers, Amazon maybe. They're not that expensive. I think maybe 20, 40 bucks. I don't remember if it was 20 a piece or 40 for the pair or what it was, but they weren't that much. I got mine eBayed with the outer filter all together. Shop around, because some places they are expensive. Anyways, I'm gonna let this epoxy settle. I'm not gonna worry with my pinholes. I'm hoping it's not gonna be crazily visible once the engine and everything's in. Later on, if it becomes a problem, then I do plan on going to a motor upgrade at a later point. If it's that noticeable when I run my motor, I'll scuff it. I'll throw some Z-grip over it or some spot putty, fill in the little pinholes, scuff it all, and spray it once more. But I'm gonna roll it with it like it is now. If I do that later on, then it'll give me a chance to body fill those nastinesses over there that do stand out. Anyways, once this cures, I'm done for the day, I think. I'm gonna let this stuff cure up. I'm gonna start making my AC lines because I got my other fittings in. They are, these little things. All they are is just a little slip-in piece with a 37-degree flare on the back, which I can't turn, but there you go. It's got the flare on the back with an O-ring. It converts the standard O-ring style AC fittings, which are like these. Converts those so you can use it AN fittings. I'm just gonna throw shit on fittings like this. They just slip into here. O-ring fits in that little groove. And boom. AN fitting for heater bulkheads. Start making those up. And get them hooked to the AC to where I can permanently mount my AC under the dash. Along with that, I'll be able to put these bulkheads, these power bulkheads here, back in. This bulkhead. Once I get those in, run my power wires. Get that taken care of. So that's the next things on the agenda. The trunk lid can also be mounted now that I've epoxied the underside. So the trunk lid will be getting put on. I do have to get another Deutsch connector. I need a 4-pin 14 gauge. So I gotta find one of those for cheap. Amazon had one, but they wanted like 25 bucks for it. I'm not paying that. So if I have to order another China kit of a whole bunch of pin connectors that do like 12 and 14 gauge, then I'll order that and wait, I guess. Because I need that for my wiper motor. The wiper motor is 14 gauge wires. If anyone has a link or has the info for what each wiper motor wire actually is, hook me up. I've got a bunch of pinouts and wire diagrams, so if you're sending me a huge wire diagram of what goes where, I have that. I'm just wanting a simple, you know, this is ground. And it probably isn't going to be that easy anyways, because it's going to feed to the wiper switch, which has a bajillion pins on the back of it, so I'm probably going to have to just draw it out. So never mind. Yeah, that's it, guys. I'm not going to run this on any longer. This was the main time consumer lately. So let this cure, bolt everything up, start on AC, power wires, get trunk lid bolted up, put my column back in. And then it's getting close to putting the motor in time. I do need to bleed my brakes again. After, of course, I got to remount them because I got this tape shit all over them. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Later.